Hello and welcome to my channel Solum on Budget, and well, to my very first video actually. This is my first year that I will do my budgeting this way. I hope it'll help me be more consistent and do it properly throughout the year. Right, my name's Sonia. I am a teacher and I'm also a single mom of two. As you can probably hear, English is not my first language, but since I consume 99% of my social media in English, it just kind of feels right for me to do this in English. Right, so today I want to show you my setup for 2026. And as I already mentioned, I am a single mom of two. And as you can imagine, or from experience, life with kids is always very, very busy. So my setup will be as minimalistic and as simple as possible. In fact, I'll only be using two things, one binder and one notebook. I know many people use different binders for different things, like different categories, but I feel like it would overwhelm me. I obviously watched quite a few videos on budgeting before I started this, and even just watching people use so many different binders and so many different things, it would overwhelm me. So hopefully this will work. I mean, if it doesn't, I'll obviously have to adjust as I go. This is a learning by doing process, and let's see how it goes. Right. So I actually want to start by showing you my notebook first. I'm going to put this on the side. I just want to have a nice setup for the beginning. So this notebook is the only thing, the only notebook I'm going to use. So I'm starting from scratch this year. So what I did first is write down again my fixed monthly expenses, like rent, utilities, car payment, and so on. I also put a little space in here because these two are, automated monthly payments, but also investments at the same time. And then education I put down here. This is the money I will need for my son's school and my daughter's kindergarten. And since that varies slightly, I just put the approximate amount, and I'll have to add this to the really fixed number each month to know what my exact expenses will be. Right. And I'll actually come to these numbers I'll talk about this in more detail in my next video, because I'm actually getting paid on the 15th, so next week. And I'm planning on doing my budgeting always from the 15th to the 15th, right? So that makes sense to me, so I'll do this then. Right, down here I have a list where I'm going to put down my income, because my income varies slightly from month to month. So my exact income, the exact expenses, deduct the one from the other to get my budget. And then I'll also write down how much I actually spent, right? To know if I have something left or if I maybe overdrafted. And so I need to recalculate my funds for the month. Oh, and here in the beginning, I have, because of limited space, I didn't put down the months, but just numbers, because I just didn't have enough space to write down January, February, and so on. Right. And then in the back of the notebook, I will write down, or I wrote down my savings tracker, which you can see I started on the 1st of January 2026. So this is the amount or the money that I have saved so far already. This is my kind of starting point for all my savings accounts. So let me just talk you through this quickly. I have a Flatex account, which is an online broker in Austria, since I live in Austria. I started this in 2024. And I have to admit, it took me a very long time to actually start investing, because I just didn't know anything about it and I was so afraid to lose money. So when I first started this, I only started by putting in like 25 euros a month. And then once I got more confident, I put in 50 euros, and now I'm putting 100 euros per month towards it. And it's an automated payment, right. And the balance so far is 2,512 euros and 80 cents. Although this is the kind of, what I'm actually investing towards are two ETFs. This is the kind of investment that you're not supposed to touch for like 15, 20, 25 years for it to really make a difference, right? And there's supposed to be like a 6 or 7% interest on this. Right. Then I have a high yield savings account. I started this in 2023 when I bought my car. In Austria, really, I live in Vienna. I wouldn't really need a car because public transportation is really amazing here. But since I have the two kids and they're small, I just wanted to be more flexible and more mobile. And so I actually bought a new car because, again, I don't know anything about cars and I was just afraid to buy a used car with kids, you know. So anyway, I didn't have the money to pay the car outright. So I leased it and I'll have 7,000 euros that I'll need to pay to finalize the purchase basically in 2028. I actually managed to save 8,000 euros in the last 2 years. I have to admit, I didn't really know how. I just kept like putting, cash aside whenever I had some left over. And yeah, so I have 8,000 saved, and I put them in here because my bank actually offers this high yield savings account, and they offer a 4% interest on accounts for kids up to the age of 10. So I put 4,000 into each account because once you put more than the 4,000 in, I think if you go over, the interest drops to like 0.001% or something, which doesn't pay off anymore. So yeah, I only started this in February of last year. And as you can see, I put in 8,000 and we already made profit, 204 euros. And this is actually after tax has been deducted already. So I'm quite excited about this. Right, then I have a life insurance that I put 200 euros towards for the three of us. Again, with an interest of about 6%. But since I only started this last August, it's not long enough for the interest to really make any difference. So I've saved 1,000 euros so far, and that's the money I put in since last August. Right, then I have an emergency fund, which, well, according to experts, is supposed to be 3 to 6 months of your salary. But unfortunately, I only managed to save 2,200 euros so far. So this will definitely be a priority to get this number up. Right. And then if you're interested, I actually also invested in gold. And the way I did it was once my son was born, a little over 8 years ago. My mother advised me to do this. I started buying gold coins for special occasions, like his birth, every birthday, Christmas, and so on. And then I did that for once my daughter was born as well. And yeah, it's built up quite a bit, actually. But to be honest, this is the only number I don't really want to share with you. I hope that's okay. And I put it on hold right now because gold prices are just crazy right now. I can't afford to buy anything. So this won't make any difference in my savings for this year. Right, so altogether, I have 13,916 euros and 80 cents already saved. Although if you deduct the 7,000 euros I'll need in 2028, I have about half of this left. But, still, I'm quite happy about this amount so far. And we do live on a single income. My kids are small. I'm trying to, offer them a good life. So far, so good, I'd say. Right. And like I said, let's see at the end of the year, hopefully all these numbers will have gone up. Right, that's it for my notebook. And then let me show you what I have in my binder. Right, as I said before, I'll only use this one binder. And also I try to combine some categories inside because it makes sense to me, and again, to just keep it as simple as possible. So let me show you. First, I have my sinking funds here, which this one is food, which I combined eating out and groceries into one envelope. And I have to admit, I actually don't know how much money I need for food and groceries. So I decided with the 1st of January to just kind of collect my receipts, and each time I go and buy groceries or go eat out, to just have an idea of how much I actually need to put into this envelope. Then the next envelope simply says Einkaufen. It says shopping. So this will be where I'll put my variable expenses in. So, for example, clothes and books and toys and gifts and all those. I know, like I said, people have different binders for each of those categories, but I'm going to try and see if I can do it this way. And if I know a birthday is coming up or Christmas is coming up, I'll just put in more money into it then, right? And then I have an envelope that says public transportation car. So for my car service, it should be, if I say 1,500 euros, that should cover it. Public transportation has gone up, so maybe I'll have to adjust it slightly. But for now, my goal is to say 1,500 to put into this envelope. Then I already mentioned my emergency fund. Right. The more, you manage to put in here, the better, I would say. Then I have an envelope for my kids' expenses, like different classes, dance class, music class, school trips, sports, etc. So I kind of know approximately, like I can already estimate what amount I'll need. So yeah, I will put that in here. And then vacation, my goal is to save like 3,000 euros for this. I want to do a big vacation in summer and then maybe 2 smaller trips, either also one in summer or in fall and then in winter as well. So let's see how this will go. Right. And then I have my saving challenges that I want to do once a week. I have to admit that I've never done challenges before, so I picked 6 with lower amounts because I'm not sure how it'll work out, right? If I'm really going to have enough to put towards these. Let's see, I don't know. But anyway, I'll try. So I have a coin challenge here, and then the small amounts like €2 challenge, €5 challenge, €10 challenge. I did put a €20 challenge in here as well, which will already amount to €1,000, which would be quite good. And then I did put a 52-day challenge in here as well, which would amount to €1,378. So that's the goal, to kind of finish all these, I don't know, within 6 months, within the year. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you, right? But I'll just try to do my best. Right. And I'll get into more detail of how exactly I'm going to do these once I do my first video on saving challenges. Right. I think that's it. Yeah. So as you can see, nothing too complicated because, again, as a single mom, time management and organization is everything, right? Keeping the mental load as low as possible. So it has to be as simple as possible. Right. If you've watched this far, thank you so much for being here. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please subscribe. It feels weird saying that, but I've heard that when you actually say it, more people actually subscribe. So please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye.